This is the triple champion, the cold hard truth, the throwback truth, Johnny Pierce. And you are watching none other than the 5-Star Takes podcast. There are a lot of other podcasts out there that talk wrestling, but not a lot of podcasts do it quite like these boys do it. Can I get a hell yeah? Hell yeah.
Do you well, hello to you too, Shane.
Oh, hey, Dennis. Sorry.
You realize this is our 50th episode?
It is, yes. I gotta increase the entertainment from everything I hear. When Isaac is on the show, he keeps things hopping and moving. So you know what? I gotta do that. And to celebrate 50 episodes, there's only one thing I can do. Just crack open a cold one, baby.
Nice, and you got Bush. Just a good, excellent choice there.
Cheers to you, sir.
Cheers to you. Speaking of which, yes, we were busy last week as we put out 2 episodes. We put out episode 48, which was one of our more traditional episodes, and then we did an episode 49 where we interviewed the cold hard truth, Johnny Pierce, and that was a lot of fun. And if you guys didn't get a chance to watch it, or if you want to watch it again, you can find it in our archives on youtube.com/@5-Star Takes. That was a great interview, wasn't it, Shane?
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. He's a very interesting dude, who had a lot to say, and it was a nice view, kind of, into his life and into the Vermont, that area of the country and up into Canada, pro wrestling.
Yeah, and stuff. So, and but not only are we celebrating 50 episodes tonight, I'm debuting something new for the show tonight, Shane.
Oh, I mean, are we going to drop the name now, or are we going to leave everybody in suspense?
Let's leave them in suspense, but okay. Let's just say it's something that I've been thinking about doing for a while, and finally, with having all this extra time on my hands, because some of you know I am currently unemployed, but looking, so I have a little bit more free time on my hands and stuff. So I just sat down on the computer, put something together, and something where we're gonna run with it tonight and see how it goes and stuff. But yeah.
I don't even know what the segment is. He's keeping me in the dark as well, people. I know the name, but I don't know the machinations. And let me tell you, just from the name, I mentioned excitement earlier. It's gonna get hot and heavy.
We'll just have to let the viewing audience, all 8 or 9 people, be the judge of that.
Hey, I'm just judging by the name, like I said. And let me tell you, the fucking 47 episodes of Rick and Morty have never looked better.
And believe me, this segment, this isn't AI. This isn't artificial intelligence. This is DDJ branded intelligence right here.
Yes. Put in it.
I think I just broke Shane.
Oh no, dude. You want to talk? You want? Oh, why did Isaac just send me this?
Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna roll the video because I really don't know how to follow that. So gonna give Shane a moment to recover. So we'll be back in a little bit, boys and girls. Are you good?
No. Oh my God. Oh, I messaged him and I told him that he has to tune in. Oh my God, that was unbelievable. For those of us who are just listening, Isaac at one point decided to grow his facial hair out, and Isaac really cannot do it. Which is fine. He tried. He gave a really valiant effort. Did not look well. And we were talking about that. He and I just together. And he sent me the picture. I didn't realize he sent it to me, and I looked at it real quick. And my goodness, you have to rewind the video and at least take a gander at it when you're out of the shower or done doing whatever it is you're doing. Holy moly. Well, welcome to 5-Star Takes, everybody. Sorry about that.
So even when Isaac is not on the show, he still has a presence and still has on the show.
Oh my God. So Dennis, how are the Brewers doing right now?
Well, they just finished a it should have been a 3-game series, but it ended up being a 2-game series due to a rain delay at Wrigley Field in Chicago against the Cubs, the only team that's ahead of them in the division standings right now. They split the series. They went 1-1. They lost on Tuesday, but they won yesterday in what ended up being a really good game. They will be making up the rain delay game as part of a day-night doubleheader in August, in which they will be playing 5 games against the Cubs in 4 days. So that's going to be brutal. They actually are due to start playing. We're recording this a little earlier than we normally do. It's about 7:30 p.m. Eastern where Shane is, 6:30 where I'm at. And my Brewers will be starting a series against the Minnesota Twins here in about a little under 45 minutes. So I will probably be tuning that on along with Smackdown as soon as we are done recording here.
Yeah, nice. I will tell you that the parlay is already busted, so it is no worry. But I did not have them winning on my parlay for whatever that is worth. I did have whoever it is there. Who are they playing?
They're playing Minnesota.
Yeah, I had the Twins. For whatever.
No, I really hope you lose.
Well, I mean, it's already busted. I mean, the Cubs fucked me.
Oh, gee.
Yes. And speaking of Chicago, Dennis, I don't know if you saw, but I will be in your city again before my week-long vacation. I will be in your city for about a day and a half total.
I think I saw something about that. Give me a little bit more on that.
Week. For those of you who know me, you probably know that I am a big UFC fan. I spend most of my Saturdays, as long as I am not working, watching 7 to 8 hours worth of fights. I'm talking the early prelims to the main event. Most times, as long as I can. And they announced a pretty big event in Chicago, UFC 319. So it's one of the big, kind of numbered cards. They do a ton of like smaller shows that they usually call like Fight Night, or if it's like a special on ESPN or ABC or whatever, it'll be UFC on ESPN, UFC on ABC. This is like one of their marquee events. One of my best friends who watches a lot of the fights with me, most of them, is and I one of our favorite fighters, Dricus du Plessis, the middleweight champion of the world, is headlining against Khamzat Chimaev, who is I think everybody in the world's least favorite fighter, probably. And yeah, we just decided fuck it. We've never been, and 418 some odd dollars later, we're into the nosebleeds, baby.
Are you guys going? Is it at the United Center?
I think so, dude. It like, I have never really considered spending that much money on a singular event, especially with the seats being nosebleeds. But it's a bucket list thing for me and my buddy, and
yeah. So when
send
you say
it.
$418, is that between 2 tickets or each ticket?
Dennis, that's 1 ticket. Oh yeah. It's expensive like that. And like, I don't know, I'm mulling going to Raw on Monday because this coming Monday it's in Columbus. But like all of the decent tickets are all resale and it's like $100 for third deck. And I'm like, ugh. And then like some of the other ones are like $73 for way in the upper deck. And I'm like, ugh. And I'm like, damn, I just spent $400 on
I think I've mentioned this on the show before. I love WWE to death. I love pro wrestling and stuff. But you know what? I am perfectly content and at peace with sitting on my very comfortable recliner that used to belong to my father before he passed away and watching from the comfort of my own home where I don't have to wait in line for the bathroom unless my wife is in the bathroom, or I have to pay, $15 for a beer when I can just go to my little refrigerator that I have to my right here.
Yeah.
And open up. It's convenience of having your laptop and set up in your own little bar that you have downstairs and right next to your refrigerator. Make my own food or order my own food and bring it back, which I'm probably going to do after we're done recording because I'm getting hungry for dinner. But I get it. It's a bucket list thing. You got to go at least once. I totally understand that and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and again, Raw is much cheaper. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I think it's one of those things that it really is kind of hard to replicate the feeling of being in an arena like that. And just the noise, the crowd interact. You know what I mean? There's something.
What you mean.
Yeah, there's something very cool, about.
And yes, and I will agree with you 100% there. I love going to pro wrestling event. Like I love going to WWE events. Like because like you said, there's nothing like being there. Same thing can be said about like major sporting events, like you mentioned UFC. I love going to Brewers games up in Milwaukee. In fact, the plan is as of right now, I will be going next Saturday, the 28th, to the game up there. Maybe solo, probably with my nephew. I'm trying to get Jovan to come up because since he backed out. He had to back out at the last minute when we went about a month ago and stuff. But I'm planning on going to the game next Saturday. They play Colorado. It's a bobblehead giveaway night, so I definitely have to go for that. But there's nothing like going to a sporting event live and just being in there and stuff. But at the same time, it's just it comes right down to it. Money. I mean, in my situation, I gotta every once in a while I'll go and stuff, but like you said, same with like wrestling shows. That's why a lot of times I haven't been able to really go lately, but I'm gonna try to start going in. I love going to independent shows. I mean, I know you're a big independent wrestling fan.
Yeah, I'll be seeing Unsanctioned Pro tomorrow night.
Yeah. Isaac's with Green Mountain and everything, up in his area. I mean, we all love independent wrestling, and I have just as much fun at one of those shows as I do at a WWE or an AEW show. But it's all good. Everybody's perfectly within their rights to do their own thing and stuff. I wish I was like one of these people that always manage to be front row, middle, card camera facing, at the WWE shows, because God only knows how much money they have in their accounts to be able to afford to do all that stuff. But you know what? That's them. I'm perfectly fine with what I got going on in my neck of the woods and stuff, but it is what it is. But yes, I agree with you. There is nothing like going to an event live. So
I mean, and honestly, just to touch a little bit on, kind of the WWE versus, independent show, situation, I would almost argue that they're totally different things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously it's still the same art form. And I hope that didn't sound demeaning in any way, shape, or form, towards independent wrestling. There's just, it's just such a different vibe. It's always, like for WWE, right? Especially if you're seeing it like a Raw or a SmackDown, it's got totally different pace. It's the feeling of the event, especially like at Unsanctioned Pro, right? Which runs in a bar, most time. Every once in a while, though, they'll run the Valleydale Ballroom, which is, like a bigger space that GCW runs when they come. It's like like senior ballroom dancing place. It's been there forever. It's also really cool. But you know, the monthly shows for Unsanctioned Pro are in a bar, you know, so that especially, you know, just totally changes the the dynamic and the feeling.
Oh, absolutely. But one of the things that and I've always said that I really like about independent wrestling over like a WWE or an AEW show is I feel like there's so much more interaction with the crowds at independent shows, and I love it. And I mean, there's all different types. I mean, there's a couple different promotions that I try to go to regularly, neither of which I've been going to regularly, but I want to start going to and stuff. But they have their own little, unique presentations. I mean, I go to Chicago Style Wrestling that they usually run their shows out of a VFW. And stuff. I mean, it's a little cramped for my liking and comfort, but I mean, it's really cool. I know a lot of the talents there, and stuff. But then there's this other company who I know a lot of the talent there very well called Rocket Pro Wrestling, and they're based out of Joliet, Illinois, which is about an hour south of, a little over an hour south of me and stuff. Very professional. I mean, their presentation's one of like, and I've told the owner this because I'm friends with the owner and stuff. I've been to his house and I know his family, and stuff. And it's a family-run business, and they're a great, very good family, and they take care of all their talent and stuff. But I mean, it's one of the more professionally run independent organizations I've ever gone to a show for and stuff. And I mean, in that, so I mean, there's a little bit out there for everybody and stuff. So
real quick, Dennis, and I don't mean to cut you off, but he sounds like somebody pretty interesting and fun to maybe try and have on the show.
I've thought about that and stuff, and that's something down the line that I'll have to reach out to.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, that'd be something totally different. That's kind of what we try and do with the interviews around here.
I will definitely look into reaching out and finding because he's a very busy man with his 9 to 5 Monday through Friday job, and he's very involved in a lot of things in the community. I mean, but I'm sure
if he doesn't
make some time.
Yeah, if he doesn't have time to do it, or for any reason, that's a-okay. But
we can definitely figure something out here, and that.
Well, I think that's more or less it for the the verbal jabs and the sways, dude. It's time to get down to freaking business, dude. We're a wrestling show, man.
We are a wrestling show and stuff, and we're going to start off with something that was a little bit of some very tragic occurrence on Monday Night Raw, and that was the Liv Morgan injury. And if you watched Raw, it was pretty free. I kind of had to go back and watch just to kind of see what happened and stuff, because I actually remember like when it was live. I think I had it on and I was watching it, and I think I went to the kitchen to go get something, and I think this was like the match was just getting ready to start, and then I think it was they went to commercial, and then when I came back, or I was in there for a couple minutes, and when I came back, it's like, I just hear them talking, and I like there's nothing going on, and then I can just see Liv holding her arm, and I'm thinking, oh man, and then they showed what happened. And to anybody out there that's saying that, that's harassing Kyrie and saying that, that it's her fault that Liv got injured.
No.
You can go fuck yourself for all I care, because that was just you listen to just about every professional wrestler that has weighed in on this. And I'm talking guys like Bully Ray and I believe Tommy Dreamer and, Busted Open and everything. It was just a freak accident. Like,
I mean, listen, if you're blaming Kyrie for this, I mean, one, I think that it is really, 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 really self-absorbed for wrestling fans to, take it amongst themselves to blame any talent for an injury unless it's obvious. You know what I mean? You can tell when somebody drops somebody on their neck. You know what I mean? Whatever. But like, you've never wrestled.
No,
like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you have no fucking clue, what you're talking about. And listen, talent, I've heard a lot of talent say they don't like the word botch. You know what I mean? As a wrestling fan, I feel like you're okay to call something a botch. It didn't work, right? But for you to like look at something, especially like this, and blame somebody who I'm sure feels terrible. It's pretty shitty. It's low. But enough about those fucks. I mean, it's super, super sad with Liv, right? I feel like, honestly, I feel like this run that she's on is going to be one of those runs that we remember 10 or 15 years down the line. I mean, because it's been so vast, it's been so varied. She's done so much different stuff on this run. Women's championships, tag team championships, all the stuff with Judgment. Yeah, all the stuff with Dom, all the stuff with Judgment Day. I mean, she has been plastered all over Raw for 2 years.
Yeah, and she was figuring in, and it looked like what the story was veering towards was she was going to be doing something with Raquel Rodriguez against possibly reuniting Bella's team, or Nikki Bella and someone else, leading into Evolution, the Evolution pay-per-view. Yeah.
I mean, and it just it's just terrible, because Liv is I mean, again, somebody that's been all over Raw for 2 years, and she's somebody that I don't think a whole lot of people have really gotten tired of, which is special. Somebody that has been featured as much as she is, and I mean, really, as much as all of Judgment Day is. Like, I still don't see Judgment Day and go, ugh, you know what I mean? I might laugh and, like when Carlito was there, be like, hey, these guys are fucking idiots. But, I was never tired of Judgment Day. And, it just sucks all around. Obviously sucks most for her, and, sucks considerably less for us as fans.
Yeah, because it sounds like it was worse than they initially thought. She is going to have surgery, and they're saying anywhere from I think it was 6 to 9 months, I heard, or something like that. So hopefully she'll be back just in time for WrestleMania next year.
Yeah, and hopefully whenever she gets back, there's something really good for her to do immediately, and she can kind of just hop back on, not where she left off necessarily story wise, but at the very least where she left off momentum wise.
I think there will be, because it sounded like they were veering towards friction between her and Roxanne Perez, and
and her and Raquel.
Yeah, and I think they can pick up with that when she comes back, because by then she could have done they could do with Dom, they could put him with Roxanne and basically say that Roxanne stole him away while Liv was off being injured, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, Raquel can back up Roxanne, and, Liv can come back as this huge baby face.
Yeah, no. I mean, and they will, right? I have no reason to believe they wouldn't. But also, what we're going to talk about next is also something I had reason to believe they wouldn't, and they fucking did. But I mean, Liv's about as homegrown as they can get. I mean, grew up a ton during NXT. She's just getting better. She's so young. Still, she's this established, real main event woman star. Yeah, I mean, they should just pick up right where they left off when she comes back. Speaking of picking up right where they left off, dude, fuck Goldberg. My God. When Jay lost the title last week, right? I defended it. I said, listen, Gunther is a more established champion. Gunther is a more believable champion. And let's be honest, we all knew Jay wasn't going to go on a long run with this title. And it sucks to say, but they had that fucking Saudi money coming up. Bill Goldberg versus Gunther is a big-time match.
That's actually not happening in Saudi, though.
Well, I'm getting there, Dennis.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, but that was my mindset, right? I understand this as a business. It sucks as a fan, but the bottom line is it really going to matter that much if Jey Uso holds this title to SummerSlam? No. So put the title on Gunther, make that match bigger, make your money. It is what it is, right? But then you have Goldberg actually show up, which I think everybody was kind of hoping wouldn't happen. Well, not everybody, but most cultured humans. On Monday, and it's like, oh God, here we go again. He does the Goldberg promo, blah, 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 whatever. And then they do the match at Saturday night's main event. For real?
I get why in a sense, I get why though, because it is in Atlanta.
It's in Atlanta. It's on free TV, right? You're hoping that you get a ton of those old viewers and that you're able to, impress them with the product, and maybe you get some. So, like, again, there's merit to it, but you sacrifice Jey Uso for Saturday night's main event when you didn't have to take the title off of Jey Uso for that. You could have just done Goldberg versus Gunther.
And I think I think a lot more people would have been fine if they had just done, if they kept the title on Jey and did Goldberg versus Gunther, and
Well, yeah, that's
at the exact same way, just not for the title. I think because a lot of people are genuinely worried that they are going to put the title on Goldberg.
Yeah, I mean, and they're like, and they already had like the plan set up for it. They already planted those seeds a while ago. Mm-hmm. So you didn't even need the title to be the mechanism for the match. And again, like I said, if it was gross Saudi blood money, like I would get it, right? You have to put on a big spectacle match for those people. It's a huge show that makes the company so much cash. I don't like it, but it is what it is. But this is Saturday night's main event on free fucking television. You're not even trying to get people to buy the show or subscribe to Netflix. It's on television. Just put Goldberg on it, and the old people that you hope will watch and hope will like your product, they're going to show up anyway. They don't care about the WWE title. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is too, and I also think part of the reason why they did this is because because of what with All In happening that day as well too. So I think they which in a sense it's like, if they don't consider AEW competition, why would that matter? Like, and that's one thing that's just like, which I don't, when I hear them say that they don't consider AEW competition, I don't buy it, because if you don't consider them competition, why did you book Saturday night's main event to go against All In directly, and then AEW decides to move the show earlier in the day, and then WWE counteracts that with putting on NXT Great American Bash?
I mean, I don't know, Dennis. I'm not smart enough for that. All I know is that AEW is no threat to WWE. They never will be. You know what I mean? WWE is just probably trying to bully them a little bit and big brother them. WWE's done that forever. I mean, I don't honestly believe that they see them as competition. I think I see them as a rival in the same league. You know what I mean? That's steps below them. But, I'm not saying that I agree with that. Don't all 9 viewers, please do not come at me. I'm not endorsing that opinion.
Well, and see, and the one thing is I really worry about this, because I feel like if they made Gunther a transitional champion to go from Jey Uso to Goldberg, to me, where does that leave Gunther in all of this, and stuff?
I don't. They're not doing that, dude.
Well, see, one of two things I think is going to happen, and this is, because one of the things we're going to be talking about in a little bit are our picks for King and Queen of the Ring, and I feel like whatever happens with the King of the Ring is going to have somewhat of an indirect impact on this Goldberg Gunther match and stuff. But like, one of two things is going to happen is, and I see it either going one of two ways. Gunther is going to either just completely dominate Goldberg, which is what I hope happens. Like, he comes out and just for like Goldberg will get a couple little bits of offense in, but it's going to be a mostly Gunther dominated match just to send Goldberg into retirement. And he's doing the favor on the way out, putting Gunther over, which is really what I hope happens. Or Goldberg's going to win the match and the championship, and then Rollins is cashing in at Saturday night's main event.
Dude, they're not. No, Dennis. No. I don't
know.
Dude, no. I mean, because listen, it stinks enough of Vince already. I feel like there's enough people that feel the way I think you and I do. That it, I mean, and it really reeks of Vince. You know what I mean? It just reeks of some shit Vince would do. No, I think that it's like 10 to 12 minutes. I think you see the first 2 or 3 being, typical opening stuff, lock up, right. Punches, whatever. I think you see Goldberg kind of best Gunther a couple times. He rolls to the outside, powders, please. Timeout. Stop. And then I think you see Gunther hit him probably with like 5 chops. You get
power bombs.
No way. No, he can't bump, dude. I think that you get a solid 5 or 6 minutes of submission attempts and rest holds from Gunther. I think you see a lot of big babyface fire up from Goldberg, please. I think you see like 1 minute of Goldberg comeback, spear, jackhammer, another spear, kick out. Gunther probably puts him to sleep, pulls off, and then hits him with a splash. I don't think you see Goldberg get power bombed, bro.
I don't know. I mean,
we'll just have to wait and see
in a couple weeks. I mean, we don't know. I mean, Goldberg still looks to be in really good shape. So, I mean, I guess we're gonna just have to wait till July 12th to see for ourselves. Speaking of things that are happening in July, it looks like the long rumored reduction in time for Smackdown is going to be happening in July. In fact, it sounds like, from what I've been hearing, this hasn't been confirmed. I don't have a source. I'm just going by what I've seen online, so don't take this as official. This is completely rumored. But it looks like SmackDown's finally going back to 2 hours, and I can't say that this move can't happen soon enough.
As somebody that doesn't watch SmackDown, I can't really comment on it. But what I can say is I think that WWE, with the way Raw is running right now, is really a perfect amount of time. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes to 2 hours and 45 minutes, yep. But usually it's coming in at like 220, 225.
Yeah, it's about usually on average around 2.5 is I would say the average.
Yeah, I mean somewhere around in there. But it's really cool because it's on Netflix, and if a match goes a couple minutes overtime, it's just all right. Or a segment goes a couple minutes overtime. You can tell that segment's kind of, they obviously have run times for the segments and they try to keep things as orderly as possible. But it's so nice because when a segment is flowing organically, you can tell they don't really have to rush it.
Agreed.
And then again, they just, the show went 2 hours and 38 minutes today. Okay. Hey guys, let's try to tighten it up. And then you move on.
You originally had 6 minutes with entrances for your segment. You're down to 4 now. And that's so. But
well, then they just take 6 anyways.
But then they have to go back and face the music unless it was really good. So, but I'm for this because it's Friday night by the end of the week. It's been a long week, and it's just sometimes it's a struggle for me to get through all 3 hours of SmackDown. So I think for me, them going to 2 is the right move and stuff. And again, as we're recording this, SmackDown is just about to start. So all of this stuff that we're talking about, this has SmackDown. This is before either of us have had a chance to actually watch SmackDown. So But yeah, I'm for this and stuff. So,
well, speaking of things that are going to happen on SmackDown, it's King of the Ring time, baby.
And Queen of the Ring time.
Yeah, King and Queen.
Yeah, so the semifinals will kick off, and let me pull up what I got here. So we will have for in a semi-final match in the men's King of the Ring tournament, which, by the way, I love this Final Four they have for the men's King of the Ring, because any one of these four men have a legit chance to legit claim to this. We have that's going to be happening tonight on Smackdown as of this recording. Randy Orton going up against Sami Zayn. And then on Monday Night Raw, we will have Cody Rhodes going up against Jey Uso. I've been thrilled because it's really tough to.
And that is a match I do want to see.
I want to see both of these. I think both of these are going to be great. And I mean, I've been going back and forth on like my King of the Ring pick here, and I don't think it's going to be Orton. I don't think it's going to be Cody. I honestly think it is going to be either Sami Zayn or Jey Uso, and it honestly wouldn't surprise me if that was the final. But if you're asking me to hold a gun to my head and I have to make a prediction, I am actually, and this is why I feel like whoever wins this tournament, it's going to kind of, I think, have a little bit of a. We're going to see the ripple effects in this Gunther Goldberg match. But I'm going to go with what I feel right now is the case. I really like to say, I think it's either going to be Jey Uso or Sami Zayn. I'm going to go out and say, because the more I think about it, the more I think the outcome that we don't want to happen in terms of Goldberg winning, Goldberg's match. I'm gonna go with Sami Zayn. I think because I think we're gonna get Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins for the championship at SummerSlam. So I'm saying it right now, gun to my head, getting ready to pull the trigger. I've made my pick. I'm going with Sami Zayn takes King of the Ring.
Yeah. So I think honestly that you are spot on with your predictions on who's gonna win. I think Jey Uso is gonna like quick roll up Cody, or you know what I mean. There's gonna be some interference or whatever. And then I do think Sami will. I think that Sami's going to just pin Randy Orton. I do. I think that Sami at this point needs a big win. It's been a while. I don't feel like Sami is light years below Randy in most people's eyes. You know what I mean? I feel like a big win against Randy would be really, really good for Sami Zayn at this point.
Yeah.
But I think that Jey Uso is going to win King of the Ring. I feel like I don't know, man. I feel like Triple H has a heart, so he probably feels bad for what has happened to Jey Uso. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is just gonna set up for another Jey Uso Gunther match at SummerSlam, which I think I'm gonna piggyback a little bit off of piggyback. Kind of a little bit off of what you were saying. And I think that what's going to happen is Jey is going to beat Gunther again at SummerSlam. They're going to make a big deal out of it. Fireworks are going to go off, and then I think Seth is going to cash in at SummerSlam. And they're going to take that huge moment away from Jey, and the whole crowd's going to be so happy, and everybody's eating, and Seth is going to kill all of them.
So it sounds to me like it somehow, some way, Rollins is going to spoil the night for, somebody, like come either with sometime over the summer. He's either spoiling Goldberg's night at Saturday night's main event, or he's spoiling Jey Uso's night at at SummerSlam. And honestly, if you're trying to really get Seth Rollins over as the heel, which he needs to be, and for that, they really need to get him new theme music, because his music now, he needs to cut that out because the people are still singing along with it, and he's leading it on.
Yeah, well, they need to do theme music for Becky too. Honestly, I think that Seth.
That's a good point. I like that too.
I think that Seth, like, I don't mind Seth's theme for him as a heel. I think that just to kind of define this new era for him, he needs it. I don't think it's bad theme music for a heel, though, who's like as egocentric as he is, right? Because he's getting all of these fucking idiots to sing his song, even though he hates them. And you know what I mean? So I feel like for him specifically at this time, he needs a new song, but I don't feel like that song couldn't work for him as a heel. You know what I mean?
Right. I totally get it. Like, I definitely feel like they need to get someone new to do this music, because
apparently they're getting a lot of bands. Like I read that Paramore has been confirmed to be doing Bailey's new theme, which is awesome.
I'm totally down with that.
And I think Paramore's her favorite band, which is so cool for her. I wish My Chemical Romance would do my theme song. And I read somewhere that Limp Bizkit's gonna do fucking Braun Breaker's theme. If that happens, I'm jumping off the roof, dude. Dennis, do you know any Limp Bizkit songs? Or are you a Limp Bizkit fan?
Well, I know a couple, because he did the Undertaker song for a while. Keep rolling, and then he also did the one song, the main theme song for WrestleMania 17, and they did that, one of the greatest hype videos of all time for Austin Rocky, My Way.
No, that was a theme song for 17. Yeah. This time I'm gonna let it all come out. Yeah, dude. That's fucking Limp Bizkit.
You sounded sounded like Elmo singing for Limp Bizkit.
Oh, dude, you should hear my AC/DC. Back in Black. But
Back in Black.
Oh, no, dude.
Hold on. That was one for each of us.
Back in Black. Dude. Oh, that was funny. What? You sounded like Donald Duck.
I can't. I used to be able to do it.
Oh, dude.
I'm giving myself a. I would tell you to tell me not to quit my day job, but I got fired from my day job. So.
No, dude, no, don't make me feel bad right now.
Holy shit, dude, you're about as red as your t-shirt. You know what? We're gonna take a quick commercial break and get for a word from our friends at Waukesha Sports Cards while Shane hopefully gets back to his normal facial skin tone. So we'll be right back. Hey there, it's DDJ from 5 Star Takes, and when I come up to Milwaukee to see the Brewers play, there's one place that I always make it a point to stop at. Waukesha Sports Cards. Come on, let's go inside and check out what they got. Thank you. Thank you. Be sure to stop by one of their 3 locations or go to www.waukeshawsportscards.com. Are you good?
Man, that's 2. That's 2 good crying laughs tonight. Dennis, that's probably the best Donald Duck impression I have ever heard.
Oh my God! You don't have you know my sarcastic meter is just got blown up because I know that thing was lit just over.
I loved it, Dennis. I loved it. Like, it might not have been the best, but it was my best. You know,
Oh,
I think it's the best, and it should happen more. Speaking of happen more, the Queen of the Ring will happen more times next year and the year after that.
Yes, and we also have a couple of matches here. Let me pull it up. What I got here. Hold on a second. Sorry, I got to go back a couple pages. All right, so we have in the Queen of the Ring tournament, we have kicking off tonight. We have Alexa Bliss taking on the recently returned Asuka, and then we also have Roxanne Perez going up against Jade Cargill. That will be happening on, Monday Night Raw. This one here,
those are 2 really hard to predict matches.
Yeah, both of these tournaments this year are really hard to predict. I feel like this one here, I feel like it's gonna be. Ooh, you know what?
Did both matches end in double count out, and it's just a fatal 4-way?
That would suck. That'd be just for me. You know what?
If the matches were bangers, I feel like it'd be awesome. Can you imagine if those 2 matches ruled and they both, just ended whatever? They both don't have to be double count out, but then, both GMs were like, we're just putting everybody in the fucking match. That would be awesome.
You know what, though? And I feel like the Money in the Bank in the women's division could also play a factor in this, too, if Jade Cargill wins, because Jade could win Queen of the Ring. She could go on to challenge for a championship at SummerSlam, win it, and then Naomi could cash in and do that. I don't think we'd see both of those happen in one night, and I don't think Jade's going to win. I really don't. I could see her going over on Roxanne Perez and stuff, and maybe setting up a Asuka. I think you know what? I'm going to go with Asuka. I feel like if you really want to, I really feel like she's been gone for about a year with an injury. I feel like if you really want to get her going again and reheat her up, you got to go with this and have her go, So I'm going to go with Asuka.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like Asuka is in any way a bad prediction, but for the same reasons you're using for Asuka, I'm just going to take them and multiply them, right? Because Alexa Bliss has been back for a little bit longer than Asuka, but it's not like Alexa Bliss has been back for a long time, and it's not like Alexa Bliss has done a whole lot since she's been back. It seems like at this point Alexa Bliss is fully back, and we haven't seen Alexa Bliss in what, 3 years?
About 2 years. Then she came back at the Rumble, disappeared again, then came back after WrestleMania.
Yeah. So I feel like there's, God, I don't want to sound disrespectful, but Asuka being the age she is, I feel like there's more juice in Alexa Bliss. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's going to be more longevity with her. I feel like, ultimately, being an American product,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Alexa Bliss goes over Asuka. And then I feel like Jade almost certainly goes over Roxanne. I feel like they like Roxanne, but let's be honest here. Who like right now, has more immediate like title aspirations, right? Like just all of that. Roxanne Perez is wrapped up in
with Judgment Day
conflict.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I think that Jade is going to win. I think that Jade going over Alexa Bliss would be such a big moment in her career. I feel like Alexa Bliss being in the match is a really good way to kind of get back, into the swing of things, gain some momentum, and then she can go into her own storylines on Smackdown. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the title aspirations for Jade are very much there. Then yeah, why not? You have
Yeah, and I mean, and like I said, that's the beauty of, I think, when we have these types of tournaments where maybe the outcome isn't so predictable.
Yeah.
And
because I don't think Jade wins the title. I do think Jade would either lose that match or a Money in the Bank cash-in situation would happen. But I mean, the bottom line is I mean, she's very young, and that's a big stage, right? If she goes out and kills it, 6 months down the line, you got it. You know what I mean?
Right. All right, so we're getting up there in time. We're at 50 minutes right now, and we got one more thing we want to talk about, and then the big debut of the new segment here. We cannot forget about that.
Yes, and since I don't get my own picks, or it didn't happen. No music.
Well, then I have to. You know what? I have to go back and redo that. I will work on that. We will.
I'm just kidding.
So we're going to talk about Grand Slam Mexico, which is a pretty momentous event. It's the first time AEW's run a show in Mexico. I believe it was at Arena Mexico, which is the home of CMLL, and it's a very, it's basically, I guess you could say, the Mexican luchador equivalent, their version of Madison Square Garden. It sounds like
Tokyo Dome
wrestling. Yeah, like the Tokyo Dome or Wembley. Like if you're wrestling down in Mexico, like you want to wrestle at Arena Mexico. And it was a pretty decent show. I'm going to talk a little bit about the first half, and then Shane's going to kind of pick up where I leave off, because I watched most of the first half. He caught the last 45 minutes and stuff, and it started out with Hangman Page coming out and cutting a really good promo about actually in Spanish, which I think was definitely a great way to endear.
Yeah, which I saw was like 5 minutes.
It was something, yeah, and like Excalibur, for those that were watching on TV, provided some loose translation of what he was saying. I really think that they are positioning Hangman Page to be the one that takes the title off Moxley. It seems like that's what the crowd wants now. I still feel like originally, and that's obviously we know Mox versus Hangman is main eventing All In. Like, they're positioning Hangman's more over now than I think he's ever been in AEW.
And he's not going to win the title.
That's a little bit okay. All right. I don't know.
No. All you AEW fans have convinced yourself that Tony Khan is smart enough to pull the trigger. And he is not. He has set this up for Darby. He is going to wait for Darby. He's telling fucking stories, brother. You know what I mean?
I feel like, but how much longer can you wait, though? I mean, like, we all know Darby's done. He climbed the mountain, and he's, is he going to be ready to go and stuff? I really feel like, though, that they were hoping to possibly have Darby in this spot at All In, because I think there would be no doubt in my mind in the case, because regardless of whenever it happens, it's gonna be huge. And I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like, I still want to think that Darby's going to be the guy to do it, but it would not surprise me at all if Hangman is the one to unseat Moxley at All In. And I mean, we'll talk about that in a couple weeks when we do when we preview All In.
And sorry to pontificate on that, but I did want to ask real quick: is that Hangman promo on YouTube? Do you know?
Oh, excuse me. I would have to go and see. I would assume that.
Okay, I mean, I'll just look for it, because I heard that it was like 5 minutes in all Spanish.
It was, I believe so. Yes, it was mostly.
That is very impressive, and that is very cool that AEW allowed that to happen. On national television.
Right.
that honestly, I feel like that's a pretty important moment, in pro wrestling.
It is. And that, so, and I mean, it was a great way to kick off that show. I mean, like I said, they really are, I mean, it would not surprise me if Hangman went all the way, but we shall see. But moving on, we had a big, I believe it was a 14-man tag team match that was the official kickoff. You had Adam Cole, Atlantis Jr., the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, Bandito, Brody King, Daniel Garcia, and Templario against Dax Harwood. Members of the Don Callis family in Hitchero, Josh Alexander, Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, Lance Archer, and then Volador Jr. Typical, multi-man match down in Mexico where everybody's going everywhere. And it's just, crazy, kind of hard to keep, a lot of, fun spots and everything. There's a spot where Brody King did a Death Valley driver on the apron to take Josh Alexander out. We had Bandito and Templario with stereo moonsault fallaway slams for near falls. We had people fighting everywhere, like Fletcher and Cole were fighting up to the stage, and Brody King and Lance Archer were slugging out in the middle of the ring. Big suicide dives and stuff. And then Atlantis, the legendary luchador, pins Dax Harwood to win the match. We then move on to Kazuchika Okada versus Mark Briscoe. Yeah, and obviously this is all leading up to Okada versus Omega. I believe this would technically be 5, first under the AEW banner, but this would be the 5th high-profile match that they've had coming up at all.
Yeah, and you said this was between Ospreay and.
No, it was Okada and Mark Briscoe.
Oh yeah, Okada and Mark Briscoe. So so how was the Clash of Styles, Dennis?
It actually wasn't that bad. I mean, Mark Briscoe with his redneck kung fu and everything. I mean, I think it was pretty much a given that Okada was going to win because I don't believe Okada has lost yet in a singles match since. Well, no, I think he did. He may have lost in the Continental Classic, I believe. I don't.
Dennis, whenever you see Mark Briscoe, it's pretty much a guarantee the other person's going to win. Fair
enough, but yeah, Kazuchika Okada wins with the Rainmaker. But there were some big spots. Mark Briscoe got his Fisherman's Buster. I believe he hit the Froggy Bow, which is really cool and stuff. But yeah, then post match, Callis holds up Briscoe so Okada can clobber him with his belt and in the midsection, and then they both stomp on Briscoe after the match. In a match that this is probably, if I want to say roughly, probably I think where I'm going to tag out after this and have you pick up the pace here. We had which was a really fun match and a match that had the potential to cause some riots in an arena. Mexico.
No, the MJF match. Yeah, this is where I started. Okay. Yes, I mean that's pretty amazing. We transferred souls.
The first thing real quick before you get into it. Mystico down there is I can't believe how over he is. I mean, to think that this is the same guy that was Sin Cara in the WWE and just for some reason never took off. It seems like Mystico is a god in Mexico right now, and that was a fun match. And that ending though, and then I don't know if you heard about it, but apparently a fan went after MJF.
Yes, at the hotel. Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna tag out and let you tag in.
Yeah, I went out and hung out with some friends. Ate some Korean barbecue on Wednesday night, so I did only see about the last 45 to 50 minutes of the show. The first thing I saw was MJF in a American flag, full body Speedo. Mm-hmm. Pretty interesting. It was fun from everything I saw. MJF, I think, is a underrated in-ring worker. He's very good at matching people's styles. He's very good at kind of keeping pace, with whatever they want to do with the match and whoever he's working with. Mystico did his thing. Dennis, the end of the match, MJF cheated. Yes, rolled up the tights or something.
Of course he did. Yes.
Yeah.
And he also unmasked him as well.
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. And unmasks him after the match. Yeah, I mean, it did what it needed to do. I've been saying this for since the show started. I'm very tired of heel MJF. I would love to see babyface MJF, him doing the same shit every fucking week. Honestly, is a turnoff for me for watching Dynamite. I feel like I feel the way about MJF a lot of people do about John Moxley. I don't mind John Moxley and his faction as much, but dude, MJF irks me. But it did what it needed to do. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
They worked. Good for them.
Absolutely. So what do we have after that?
I don't know, dude. You gotta tell me.
Okay. So it looks like we had a 4 million peso match.
Oh yes.
The hologram versus Leo Rush versus Mascara Dorada versus Ricochet.
Yeah, this was a really fun, four-way dance sort of deal. There was a ton of high flying. I will say that I absolutely loved the guardrails during this match. You could tell how solid they were. One of the CMLL stars, I can't remember which one, I'm very sorry, took a crazy dive and just landed back first into it and then dropped on his head. It was nuts. Yeah, I mean, it was just a good television match. Like this is what I think about when I think of, fun crossover show stuff. Mm-hmm. It reminds me a lot of 2016 to 17 New Japan when they were having just kind of everybody come in, and especially in the lightweight division doing these multi-man different style matches. Very good.
All right. So then after that we had Mercedes Moné challenging Zeusis, I believe. If I mispronounce the name, I apologize.
Yes.
The CMLL World Women's Championship, and it looked like did Mercedes add another belt to her collection?
Yes, she did, unfortunately, dude. I just do not care about Mercedes Moné. I do not.
Alrighty then.
Yeah. It was a good match. I mean, once again, good for Mercedes if I'm trying to be a nice human. She's clearly a big fan of the luchador style, as well as all of the styles down in Mexico. Really cool for her. I don't think Mercedes needs another belt. But hey, what do I know?
Well. Okay, and then I believe the main event of that night was they had a lot of multi-man matches here.
Ooh.
You had the Beast Mortos.
The 10-man.
Yeah, you had the Beast Mortos. And then John Moxley and Wheeler Yuta from the Death Riders. And the Young Bucks going up against Swerve Strickland, the Ops, and Will Ospreay.
One quick thing I do want to mention real quick about the Mercedes Moné thing is she ate a German suplex after the match was done, when she had one belt draped around her neck and she had the rest of them on her arms, and then the titles flew everywhere. Really good visual. Very, very, very funny. But yeah, I mean, the closing match was just a chaotic 10-man. There's all sorts of little stories in there, and obviously Death Riders versus, all of the coalition. It was good. Again, it was as good as you expect AEW matches to be, which is very good. I expect every AEW match to be on the upper side of okay to good. It's just a 10-man main event on a show that had pretty much all multi-man matches. Yeah.
Well, I think that's about all we needed to talk about today. So you know what? Let's not keep the audience waiting no more. It is time to debut a new segment on this show.
What's it called?
Are you looking to upgrade your next movie night? Are you looking to find that special movie to watch with that special someone? Well, have no fear. because it is time to DDJ and Chill. There you have it. It is now time for the debut of DDJ and Chill.
Yeah, and what do you normally do when you, watch some Netflix and hang out, dude? Hot and steamy, what I said.
Actually, pretty much what I tend to do when I'm watching something on Netflix is
fall asleep.
Pretty much. So like that guy at the beginning of the video, that's typically me. I'm not gonna lie.
It's that damn lazy boy. Dennis, what does this segment entail?
So basically what this segment entails is one of the other things besides professional wrestling that I'm very passionate about and that I've invested a lot of time and money into is movies. Like I have a collection, I would probably say close to if not over 1,200 movies in my collection.
For real? It's that many?
Dude, I will once we're done recording, I will take a picture of where I have all my movies, the shelves of my movies, and I'll send it to you.
Yes, please.
And but basically all it's going to be is I'm just going to go through and just each week I'm just going to recommend a movie that I recently watched or I've watched and just say, you know what, if you haven't watched this, give this a chance. And up first on the debut segment for DDJ and Chill is a very fun movie that I watched about I would say about a week ago, and it's called, and I actually have it right here with me. It's called Love Hurts.
So did you buy this film and then watch it, or did you watch it and then immediately go purchase it?
I bought it and then I watched it because again, I'm a big proponent of physical media when it comes to movies. Which I don't know if you follow the trend in that, but it seems like a lot of studios and like they're kind of trying to go the way of digital. Like a lot of
everything.
Yeah, a lot of places don't carry like movies in stock anymore. Like my biggest place they used to go were like Best Buy and Target, and they don't carry them anymore. So you usually have to resort to
Amazon,
or I have the occasional find at Walmart. Although my Walmart is horrible about putting new releases out. So majority of the time,
do you not have any like secondhand stores around you? Like any like
not by me, but there are like I do have a couple of half price bookstores that are within.
You don't have like a like a secondhand video game DVD music exchange situation?
Not close to me. Like the closest I have, it's like we have a few in the area. They're called Disc Replay, and there's a few of those around, but I don't have anything with it. I like the closest one I want to say in terms of like a Disc Replay, which is like you said, secondhand, like movies, video games, that kind of stuff. I want to say the closest Disc Replay to me is probably in about 45 minutes away from me and back my old stomping grounds over in the
Dennis, there has to be a secondhand something close to you.
Like I have a couple of half price books where they sell used books, but they also sell movies and stuff as well, but they don't have as many. They're more about the books and stuff than anything. But in terms of a place that sells like secondhand, just strictly like movies and video games and stuff like that, yeah, no, I don't have anything close to me at all.
Oh, dude, when we hop off, well, I mean, not tonight because I'm stupid, but maybe tomorrow, you're gonna have to let me know, like, at least like the neighborhood. I'm gonna look, dude, because in Chicago with that big of a market, dude, you gotta have something closer than 45 minutes.
Well, actually, I thought about there is one that's maybe about a half hour away from me, half hour east of me in Downers Grove, Illinois. But like I said, I don't have a play like a Disc Replay or anything like that, like nothing within like a 15-20 minute range.
Dude, I'm gonna find something for you.
All right.
No.
All right. So
but what was the movie about?
So basically what the movie is, it stars Ki Hoi Kwan, who, if you look at him, you might recognize him from
looks like Harry Potter.
No, he's definitely not Harry Potter.
Harry Potter is an adult.
He is he's mostly known for his roles in The Goonies as well as Temple of Doom. In Temple of Doom, he played Short Round. You've never seen Indiana Jones in Temple of Doom.
Dennis, this is not a good segment for me, buddy. I don't watch any movies.
Okay, well, for those of you out there who are listening to the show and actually watch movies, you probably recognize Ke Huy Quan from as Short Round in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and he also played Data in my personal all-time favorite movie, The Goonies. And in this movie, he actually plays a former assassin / crime boss who is trying to move on with his life, and go legit. And actually, he in this movie he starts off as a real estate agent, and very successful, very about to receive, just receiving the highest honor in his field by his boss. And in actuality, he is gets kind of caught up back in his old ways and stuff, just running into someone who tries to take him out. And then we learned that he used to be part of this as assassin who was his estranged brother used to run, and all these people that he used to work with come to try and take him out and stuff. And it's he's and of course these guys are trying to take him out. He's doing all these high flying action moves, so he still has it in him and stuff. He's got and then also too, he's kind of got the love of his life, who used to be an assassin that he left behind as well too. I think is how he kind of gets back into it and stuff. So she's trying to get him to come back or help her out or something, and he's trying to he's got his real estate career and stuff. And there's an assassin named Raven who's obsessed with poetry that ends up kind of he ends up meeting Marvin, who's Ke Huy Quan's character's name, his secretary, and they kind of end up developing a thing for each other. So he kind of comes around at the end. But you've watched football, right?
Like American football?
Yeah. You know who Marshawn Lynch is, right?
Yeah. He's
in this movie, and I will tell you, he stole the movie for me. He was hilarious in this.
Yeah, well, I mean, very funny. Yeah, beast mode funny.
Yeah, very, very, very funny and stuff. And and then basically it's just him trying to get rid of all these assassins because he wants to go back to doing his thing his thing, yeah, and stuff. So all in all, he eventually takes them all down and ends up meeting up with his brother, and basically taking down his brother, and then he's like, what, I'm done. And he finally declares his love for the girl Rose in the movie, and he's basically embracing his past and his future. Great movie, a lot of action, very funny, good movie. Like you said, you can get it on Amazon. They have it in 4K. I believe you can also get it in Blu-ray, DVD, or if you have Peacock, it is available to stream on Peacock.
Yeah, sweet. I mean, Dennis watches a ton of films. If he recommends something, it's definitely worth a watch from you.
Yeah, definitely go check this out, because the reason why I got it was mainly because of Ke Huy Quan, and like I said, being in Indiana Jones as well as The Goonies. He was also in season 2 of Loki as well. So,
dude, listen, watch all of those things. Yeah. I haven't seen a single.
But yeah, no, definitely give it a watch. Like you said, you can get it on Amazon. Your Walmart may have it, but like you said, you can, if you have it Peacock, go watch it on Peacock. But we've done quite a bit today, and I think I'm ready to call it a show. What say you, Shane?
Oh, I need to go to the bathroom.
Well, then on that note, well, Shane, I won't let this go any longer because I know you got to go. So, good night, everybody.
Can you do one more Donald Duck impression? Yes.
Sorry, bro. Legends of the Ring Sting, man. This is a great figure, old school figure. Looks great. It's Sting! Old school Sting from WCW. Guys, you know us, 3/4 of the Shooting Shit team, and we're here with a listener just like you guys. This is Jimmy from Super Powers Comics.
My friend of almost 20 years. He's known him since you were 12.
If you know people in Chicago, you probably know Dennis because he knows half the town, of course. But shooters, if you need action figures, comics, wrestling memorabilia, we just showed you Sting. Superpowers Comics will put up their QR code so you can get a good look at everything they have coming. Give it a shot, shooters. Get your superpowers on and get your comics from our friend Jimmy, who listens just like you.
Save 25% on your first order when you use the code 5STAR.
Attention wrestling fans and fans of Shootin' Shit podcasts. You can now be one of the cool kids by going to ProWrestlingTees.com and buy the official Shootin' Shit t-shirt. Buy it now and be there at ringside.
This episode and all episodes of 5-Star Takes are now available on YouTube at www.youtube.com/@5-Star Takes. Be sure to like and subscribe. Get all of your 5-Star Takes news and updates by going to our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/SHOOTINSHT. And as always, thanks for watching.